sunshine.
Welcome back to the Enjoy the Walk podcast. We have a very unfamiliar, if maybe familiar face, back on the podcast with us, the large lefty mammal. Isaiah's back with us, man. Great having you on. Where the hell you been?
I've been everywhere. Everywhere except on the podcast, it seems.
I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere.
You got it. I've been everywhere. I've been in Georgia. Just recently moved to Virginia, taking a hiatus from playing professional golf and focusing more on the teaching side. Just was hired as the assistant golf pro at Poplar Grove Golf Course in Amherst, Virginia. If you guys haven't been there or checked out the website, go ahead, check it out, poplargrovegolf.com. The course is it's an original facility from 1773, Sam Snead's last design before he died. The golf course has been fully renovated, over $5 million dumped into it in the last couple of years, 7,500 yards from the tips, all new bunkers, approaches, fringes, greens have been redone. The facility is just immaculate.
That's awesome, man. We are pumped for you. I mean, yeah, we've checked out pictures of this place. You've sent us Snapchats and stuff. This place is gorgeous.
To say the least. It stays in great shape all year round.
That's awesome, man. We are pumped for you that you are, obviously still playing some golf when you can and working on the game, working on the craft, but, getting paid to do so a little more regularly.
Yeah, it's playing professional golf is awesome and all, but when you don't have a steady paycheck coming in, it's just, we'll call it what it is. It's expensive, and I do miss the grind. I do miss putting in 6-7 hours on the range and playing regularly and, traveling for tournaments, but at this time in life, I think it's more pertinent to earn a steady paycheck and slow down for a minute and reevaluate where things are.
And now I'm obviously not saying you're a fortune teller by any means, but it might have been a good time to maybe take a seat with all of this, cancellations of tournaments and what have it. I was reading an article yesterday that was saying the Korn Ferry Tour is kind of, they are strapped with what to do. Guys are making livings going kind of, I would say almost paycheck to paycheck on the Korn Ferry Tour of, they're playing for their livelihoods in the next couple of weeks. And there's a lot of guys out there that, man, if these cancellations go on for too much longer, they're also going to have to give up professional golf and find something if there's any job out there open at this point. But it's a crazy time for anyone chasing the professional tours. I even feel like a lot of the guys on the PGA Tour that weren't in your top 10%, that weren't making those millions off the bat, if it goes on for a while, are going to have a tough time making a living, waiting for their next paycheck opportunity pretty much.
Yeah. I don't know what it's going to look like for them. I don't know what it does for status changes or financially what it's going to look like for them. Obviously I didn't make the position I didn't make this decision with the coronavirus in mind. That sort of came out of nowhere. But the one thing I do appreciate about it is it's given me a minute to sort of step back and reflect on what's truly important. This virus is probably not something we should, take for granted. We should take it more seriously and do our due diligence with washing our hands and, social distancing and the whole 9 yards, not spreading it to grandma and grandpa. And, I was reflecting today and thinking, if this were to get a hold of some people I care about deeply, this might be a good time to call them up and say, hey, I truly care about you and appreciate you. And, I've enjoyed this life with you and I've enjoyed the many rounds of golf we've played together. So for that part, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for, a break, sort of a hiatus from playing professional golf. I'm excited for what the rest of the year holds. Hopefully we can all get back out on the course soon, out of quarantine and out of our houses, back on the green grass with the sun on our faces and the breeze behind our backs as we're letting some bombs off the chain. We got to go back and hit bombs. I miss it. I miss the course.
I miss everyone's bombs. I miss my bombs. Yeah. I miss seeing your bombs. I miss Phil's bombs. I miss bombs.
Yeah.
Guys, bring back bombs.
Make bombs great again.
Yes.
But
yeah, man, you touched on a great point before bumps.
Mm,
Of just like, man, this stuff has put such a perspective on why we started, I think, Enjoy the Walk too.
mm,
We started this to not only, be kind of a culmination every week of what's going on in the game of golf from a podcast side of things, but for there to be a bigger meaning besides carrying your clubs. And I think Enjoying the Walk, as you said, is so much bigger. It's about grandma and grandpa. It's about your parents. It's about your friends and family that you grew up with that meant so much, and it allowed you to enjoy the walk through life, and it allowed you to, have the blessings you did, for you playing professional golf, for me
mm,
going to school, for Dante going to school, having everyone having the blessings they do in their life. It just, this virus, if there's one good thing that can come out of it, kind of has made us all realize, man, that, hey, there's a lot bigger things in this world that mean way, way more than a dollar, than a golf ball,
mm.
than the golf clubs in that golf bag.
Yep.
It's something that I hope all of our listeners out there can take to heart and just, call up that, person you haven't talked to in a while. Say you appreciate them, call your family members, say you love them. It's something we all know we can do more.
Mm,
There's just always something that can be added into a little extra love for those who mean the most to you, especially at this time. So
mm,
really happy to hear that, you found a place that you can call home for the time being. We're pumped to have you back in a regular schedule, to have you
mm,
back on here. Um, I think it's more fun with you. It's
mm.
way more fun with the big old lefty. I miss communicating with you, so
Yeah.
glad to have you back.
It's good to be
Sure.
back. We're all here for a good time, not necessarily a long time. So we need to enjoy it while we can. And as you've seen on some of our new merch that's come out, guys, golf is the closest thing to the walk of life itself, the game of life. So enjoy it while we got it. It's not here forever. So
For sure. And yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I do want to touch on that a little bit. We usually try and plug our merchandise a little later than usual, or a little later than normal, just to kind of, let the show take precedence. But in the times that we're having, and golf courses closing all over the country, especially near and dear to our hearts, with Dante being in New Jersey on full shutdown, myself, when this podcast comes out, Maryland will be on all non-essential business
mhm.
shutdown. I'm sure, Isaiah, yourself in Virginia, it's coming very
Yeah,
soon.
it's on the way.
Guys, we have a t-shirt on our website. It's the Game of Golf, or the Game of Life. You guys can check it out. It kind of mimics the board game, but instead of the life logo, it says golf. And basically what we're doing with those t-shirts, we've put the price down as low as they can possibly go for us to make any kind of donation or any kind of profit to give to a charitable organization down here. And what we're actually thinking of doing is, we make $5 off that t-shirt. We're going to give $5 from every t-shirt. So basically all the profits from all these Game of Life, Game of Golf t-shirts to our local communities in the golf industry. So
Mm,
we're not exactly sure how we're going to give back, but all of that money is going into a pot to give back to our local golf communities, because, they helped us build what we have today. They've been the backbone of why we started Enjoy the Walk. And we want to be able to give back and say, thank you to everyone in the golf industry that's been the kind of the backbone of what we do. I don't know what better way to say it, but
mm,
so go check them out, guys. www.enjoythewalk.store. It would just absolutely mean the world to us. I know everyone's pennies are being pinched in this time of need, so that we've got them down to $19.95, guys. It's as low as we can put them, to make a slight profit to put in the pool for to give back to our golf communities. So I think that's it from us this week, and we'll get right into our interview, because I don't want to take away from what's going on right now, and I don't want to take away from this interview. So without further ado, we have the owner, founder, and creator of Take Pride Golf, Jon Cantrell. Back to the Enjoy the Walk podcast, guys. I hope wherever you are, wherever you're, either quarantined or bunkering down throughout all of this, you're having some fun in all the midst of this. We got to keep a smile on our faces, and at least rely on some of the good laughter and the good times to get us through some of the, predicaments that we might find ourselves in. And I think a no better guest to have on the show at this point in time with good vibes, good attitude, than the owner of Take Pride Golf. Their mentality is kind of what we're all about during these tough times. A nice, relaxed, fun, happy-go-lucky mentality, about the game of golf. And they're what we like about the game of golf, from the way it's approached to the way they have fun on and off the course. So without further ado, Jon Cantrell with Take Pride Golf. How you doing, man? Thanks for joining us.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. So, I introduced a little bit about, Take Pride Golf, but, tell us a little bit more just about the mentality that Take Pride Golf brings to the game.
Well, I mean, first off, the whole Take Pride thing is just, it's a motivational company. Just kind of, like you said earlier, just good vibes and, just doing the best we can to kind of help grow and kind of branch off a little bit from the standard path of golf and have fun with it along the way, man. It's kind of like an industry that's kind of, been based on like, kind of like the hoity-toity kind of like, hey, I'm, just kind of too cool for school. But I think that's transitioning and becoming a little bit more lenient and laid back, for at least most courses. I think before, when that was happening with courses and stuff, I think like that type of, persona or whatever would be like, they won't take care of the course, type of thing. And I feel like everyone who plays golf now is a little bit more educated and kind of feels that they, no matter if they, have a divot or not, they still have a chance to look around the greens and kind of fix things and keep things, positive and pushing. So, that's what we're here to do.
It's definitely the way we love to see the game going. We even noticed it a little bit when we were down at the PGA show in Orlando. Like you said, there's that hoity-toityness. Guys are in suits and ties, and Dante can attest to that. But there was also that vibe of like, all right, they're starting to be that kind of cool, laid-back mentality that's starting to infiltrate that high-end show. And I think there's so much room yet to be had in that side of golf, and I think that's where you guys fit in so well.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. Because like you were saying, Dalton, down at the PGA show, you would have those guys in the suit and tie, and it was, I played here, I know this guy played here, I'm a member here. It's like, cool, dude. You have money. That's great. But the game is like what you think is like here, but the majority is like here, and we're moving it towards that. We're pushing that away, that hoity-toity. It's becoming more of that camaraderie, more of that like fraternity-esque in a way. It's that brotherhood and, like sisterhood and all of that. So it's like you're bringing that community together, and it's just more of the camaraderie, friendship. And that's what I like. And that's what we're seeing. We got to push that away, push the hoity-toity out of there.
We need the money. We need the money.
Yeah, the money's nice.
The money keeps the courses open, but we don't have to be dressed to the nines trying to play around at golf. And that's what you think. Like when you have guys like that, not the hoity-toity, you guys that are more relaxed, they're willing to, learn a little bit more. Yeah. Like you said, like, I'm okay to do this. Or if you go, these people now that go on courses and, they're afraid to like touch, like take a divot out of the ground because it's so pure, and they just want to make sure they're not doing the wrong thing. But with what we're trying to do, and even what we're seeing around the community, is we're pushing that more, camaraderie. Yes, it's okay, to where you're getting more comfort level out of people, right. Absolutely.
More people interested.
Yeah.
With golf, you have to be comfortable. I mean, if you're tense and tight, I mean, you're going to have a long round and you're not going to be happy. So, you might as well just go there feeling confident and comfortable, and, let everything else just play its favor out. You know what I mean? So
that's exactly what I was going to say. We've all stepped onto a golf course where we've just felt, I don't want to say unwelcome, but just at, not at ease. We've all been in that scenario where it's like, man, do I belong here? Something tense and tight about whether it's a really high-end country club or just somewhere you've never been before, even at a resort course, where you just feel like, should I touch that? Like, Am I going to get charged if I touch that?
I'd rather thin it right now than hit it fat, okay? So
Yeah.
let's hit some hosel rockets first before, okay?
and that mentality, and I think just from what we've seen in a lot of guys that are starting to either step into the game, or even from that hoity-toity, guys that are up at the top are starting to kind of realize that, hey, we can kind of, breathe a little bit, let down the shoulders, and just kind of accept the masses into this game, because it's a lot more fun that way.
It is, definitely, for sure.
So, but before we get too much into what Take Pride's all about and everything, would love to get it more into you yourself. Where did you grow up, and when did you first come in contact with the game of golf?
I grew up in a town called Costa Mesa, kind of on the border of Newport Beach in SoCal in California, and I grew up there like pretty much my whole life until about 10 years ago. And then I moved out to the Inland Empire where I'm at now in Temecula, Murrieta. And it's just about an hour or so from San Diego and about an hour and a half from Palm Springs. So I'm kind of like centrally located, a lot of good courses and stuff around here. And I didn't pick it up. I didn't pick up golf until probably I'd say maybe about 6 years ago. Yes, I'm still, obviously I'm still really new to it, but I just gravitated towards it. I got my first chance when I got like a set of clubs, and I had no idea what the heck. I was just like, sweet, I got a cool bag and all these fun clubs in here, and I probably had more than I needed. I probably had like maybe 16 or 17 clubs. And it was just fun. I started obviously at the range and kind of got the feel for that. I have a basketball background, so I'm a real feely guy. The good feeling and kind of just those pure shots, and those kept me, obviously you hear from everyone, that one shot will keep coming back, even if you have the poorest round, and that's kind of how it was. It was kind of just, I didn't pick it up, great right away, obviously. And after a while, my friends, started getting more into it, and they were going to courses, and I was like, well, if I'm not ready, I might as well just go and try to be ready. So I went and I played, and I definitely shot over. I think it was like a 105 or something, which, still for the first time isn't that bad. Plus the course that I played was so hard and so long. It's like a link style course. Everything was running a million miles an hour. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And it was probably like 105
had no
outside.
business being on.
No, and it was like 105 outside. And I'm like, the last hole, I think we finished 17. And I was like, I felt done. I was like, I'm so spent and I can't even function or focus anymore. And I finally, I went through with 18, but I was like, so much respect for these guys. And I'm in a golf cart, and I just realized at that point, like, dang, like, I got to get into shape more and like, and stuff like that, because I'm like, I'm in a golf cart and I'm like dying over here with heat exhaustion and frustrated with shots. And, so it was just all over the place, but so much fun. And that, a couple of those shots were really good. I think I sunk my last putt on 18 from like, I think it was like 13 or so feet. And that's what was like, all right, let's go, so from there, it just became just an addiction. So.
That's awesome. Now, what was your big passion beforehand? Obviously, I've seen you were a business owner in different realms before you got into the golf industry. What was that big passion before you got into golf, and has it directly affected in any way, kind of the mentality or the stance that you've taken with Take Pride?
Yeah. So like I said earlier, my background and my passions were basketball growing up since I was like, 10 years old, 11 years old. And, so from there I did it my whole life. And I was so dedicated to that I didn't even want to do anything else. I missed out on so many opportunities like family trips and stuff like that, just because that was my life. I knew absolutely nothing else but basketball. And that's kind of been like my driving force and like my, my mentality for the whole like golf thing is, like for me, like the reason why it's Take Pride is, if you want to be successful in your passion, you got to take pride in it. And, I'm a firm believer of that. And, you give it 110% because, you won't know how good you can be or how good something can be unless you give it your all. So that's kind of where everything kind of came into the golf thing. And kind of transitioned over from, I'm still doing basketball stuff. I run like the largest men's basketball league in the area, which is great. So that keeps me still going with the basketball side of things, but then focused 100% on the basketball side of things, just because, or the golf side of things. My basketball league has been going on for about 5 years now. And that kind of is at a place now where it kind of runs itself. So I can focus a lot more on the basketball or on the golf side of things and less on the basketball. So, but yeah, man, it's been fun. It's been a really cool transition, and still being able to get out there and play basketball too, because I play in my own league. So I can still have these separations because, you know, I mean, I would say like my main focus and my passion right now is the golf side of things for sure. So
That's cool. And I think, you know, whether it's a professional athlete, you know, striving to be their best at their own sport, or a business owner trying to dive in and do 100% of their business, I think every, you know, professional athlete or business owner would agree, you almost need that one thing that lets you just step aside and breathe every now and then. And that's cool to see that, you know, you're able to transition that one thing as a passion of yours and keep that on the side.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree. Definitely.
Yeah, that's cool. So did you guys just start Take Pride with the golf gloves, or what was the first kind of staple of Take Pride that kind of launched you guys into wanting to market that brand?
Yeah, well, first off was the polos. And I'll go back to the basketball side of things, is when I was coaching and I had teams, you know, underneath my travel program, which was, you know, Take Pride basketball. I had the same group of kids from 4th grade all the way till they were freshmen 2 years ago. And they were a good group of kids, and as they got into high school, I wanted to take them to more and more of the bigger events, get seen in front of college coaches, kind of get the environment of having tons of fans, like, you know, around you, so you can play under pressure and stuff. And so I had to make like polos and stuff for like my coaches. You know, we got to look presentable and, you know, serious, to get taken serious and stuff like that. And you know, I always like brought the whole thing like on the kids, was like, you know, like you walk into the gym looking like, you know, dressed to the nines and super good, like you're intimidating to other teams that way. So like you're ahead of the game first and foremost when you walk into that gym, no matter how you play. And so that was kind of like the mindset. And when I started like the whole like golf thing, it was like, okay, well, you know, what am I going to do from when the kids are done with me in August to February, you know, because, you know, legally they can't be with like their travel coaches until those months. So from February to July, when they're, or March till when they're done with high school basketball. So I was like looking, and I loved my polos and I was super stoked on them. And I'm looking in the closet and I grab one and I'm just like, man, I'm so tired of this thing saying basketball, you know, like I'm weird about that kind of stuff. Like I'm a Nike guy, you know, through and through, and there's no way in hell that I'm wearing any other brand of like a competing than myself with Nike. You know what I mean? I can't wear like Adidas socks with Nike shoes. It's not going to work. You know, like that throws my game off.
I got to have the top to bottom, all of it.
It does. So like with it saying basketball, I'm like, dude, this sucks. Like I'm not playing basketball. You know, like I need something that says golf. So I started making like ones that said golf, and I came up with like the whole Take Pride golf, and it was a trickle effect, and you know, but in the same sense, I wasn't focused on that though. Like I knew I couldn't make like a business with polos only, so I needed to come out with something that was, you know, attainable for people, that was like a repeat customer. Because again, like I've had polos in my, I don't know about you guys, but polos last for so long, you know, as long as you're not gaining weight and stuff, you know, your polos will last you, you know, so, or losing weight, and which isn't a bad thing obviously, but you'll see those in your closet for multiple years. You know, they last, is what I should say. You know, it's not like, you know, you're jumping in the bushes and you're getting like holes in them or something, you know? So I was like, well, what? And I had some made at the time, some gloves, and they came out so poorly, but I was like, I'm rocking them still. It says me on there. Like it's mine, you know, like I don't want to represent anyone else. And it was a process, but you know, that was kind of like the mindset of that, was the polos to gloves to something that was going to be for like a more of a repeat customer that, you know, is a necessity, you know, and for most, you know, I mean, obviously there's that small fraction of people that don't wear gloves when they're golfing, but more power to you, but I know I can't.
Yeah.
It just feels so weird. It's like, riding like a motorcycle with no helmet or something.
Isaiah can talk to my necessity for a need of gloves. I was caddying for him in the Pennsylvania Open somewhere in Pittsburgh. I don't believe I remember the course. Isaiah, you remember?
It was Nevillewood, I think.
I believe it was Nevillewood. I was caddying for him in a practice round. We get up to the 18th green. Beautiful scene, waterfall in front of the green, nice clubhouse, everyone watching above because all these guys at the PA Open and we're, playing their golf course. And we get up to about 80 yards and they're like, oh, well, what if the caddies hit a couple quick shots? And Isaiah being a lefty, I had to grab the other guy that we were playing with, his club. He couldn't have had greasier hands to save his life. And I go to swing this club and almost lose it in the pond in front of me. Mind you, he's got a tournament tomorrow. So I'm like, okay, that's the last time I ever touch a club. A, without a glove. B, in a tournament round before the tournament started for some other player. So,
oh my goodness.
yeah,
Can you imagine if you would have lost it?
I would have went swimming. That's exactly what would have happened. I would have went swimming.
You would have had to. You would have had to. Let the dust settle. Let everyone clear out, and then grab your snorkel and let's jump in there. And
yeah, Isaiah would have had a mandatory late night rain session, so I could sneak back out and get that club.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to sneak over here while you're practicing. Yeah.
But yeah, from that day and even before then, I've always needed a glove. I don't see how people do it, especially when they're practicing indoors. My hands sweat; they're clamps. They just
I get that for sure. That's a cool story though. That would have been kind of funny.
Oh, it was borderline nightmare.
Oh man.
So, John, what material do you choose to make your gloves out of, and why? I know a lot of manufacturers, have a material of their preference or choice. But why do you choose the material that you choose, and what makes it so great?
Well, so I have two gloves. I have one in the making right now, which is going to be my tour glove. I was, short story, I was going to release two at the same time, and I felt like it wasn't really needed at that time. I wanted to get it done. And, the one that I released, that I have currently is kind of like, it's really, really good quality. So I shouldn't say it's a lower end glove by any means, but I will have more of like a lighter, thinner, more kind of flexible feeling glove, like a tour style. And then I'll have this one. So the 2.0, the tour one will be a different style looking, but both of them are all will be AAA premium Coretta leather. So and I have all my stuff done at the same factory, same manufacturer as all the big name brands in Indonesia. Titleist, FootJoy, Wilson. So, and I have two manufacturers that I deal with. So if I can't get something from someone, I can get it from the other, or just have one company do one glove and the other do the other style. So I still go back and forth with different samples and how I want to do things. I'm really happy and comfortable with the one that's out now. Now it's time to kind of, reinvent a little bit, because I feel like my glove, even though it's got the change on it, which we could talk about that later, but for those that don't know, but just the aesthetics of the glove, the overall impression looks like everyone else's, so it's got the same stitching and stuff like that. I added a terry cloth inside, like a band for, sweat and stuff like that. And it keeps the cuff of your glove where your wrist is from like kind of flowering out as you're pulling it up and kind of fitting it on. It keeps it form fitting. So, which is nice. That kind of took a little bit of time going back and forth trying to do that. But for the most part, yeah, it's all, there's regular Cabretta, there's double, there's triple, premium. It kind of just depends on, what you really want, what you're looking for. And I went with what I went with because I wanted something a little bit more durable, something that was going to last. I didn't want to deal with people, right off the bat, saying that theirs fell apart or, whatever. I wanted it to be more of, I want a good feedback, not just, all the negative and stuff like that, So, I have heard like, oh, it's a little thick, blah, 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 but you got to take a little bit to give a little, and it's kind of one of those things that, yeah, like a little bit, and it's not even that thick at all by any means. But it is a little bit thicker than like what I would do for my tour one, which you could definitely tell the differences of the leather for sure. So.
For sure.
But
Now, I'm always curious because, like, you kind of alluded to it a little bit there, but I'd love to dive into it a little more. Like the stitch patterns that are on these gloves, you talked like it's pretty typical. When
yeah.
you go through a design process in a glove like that, what are your options as far as like kind of going back and forth with the manufacturer? Like, do they have like, an A, B, or C to pick from? Or is it pretty much like, all right, how custom do you want to go with this? And they can pretty much do anything at your will. Like, how much room is there to really work with these stitch patterns in these gloves?
So I chose a couple of different ones just because I had a couple of samples that came in of different ones. I'd say like 3 or 4 different ones that had different stitching on them. And I kind of just had those, a couple of each sizes, and I kind of just disperse them out to some of the homies and let them kind of feel like what kind of worked for them, what they felt about it. And I really had them like dissect it and, kind of go through on what feels good. Okay, I have an XL in this one also, or a large in this one also. Try this one on, compare the two. What do you like about that? And we kind of, like I said, we dissected them to where what we have now was a good fit, a comfortable fit for like the broad range of sizes for everyone's hands. I don't do a medium large right now or like a cadet. So that's kind of, I wanted something that was going to break in really nicely, not be too loose on those that might need a cadet or something, or an ML. And you kind of just have to go from there. I mean, but the stitching process, like, you could probably come up with some design, but you just don't know if it's going to work. And I'm not really to that point to where like I'm not R&Ding like that. And it just takes too much time. Like, it takes too long. And I do like, so my 2.0, my generation 2, my G2 is definitely different from other people's. It's not the standard, looking glove by any means, with the stitching and the perforation, stuff like that. So, but that was something that like I came up with, was this design for sure, but it's not out of the ordinary of the glove at all. So, but
Now, something that is out of the ordinary, and I think you'd love to touch on it as well, is the kind of patch, the interchangeable patch that's on the Velcro
yeah.
clasp of the glove. What made you guys say, you know what, that's where we're going to be different? Like, how did that kind of come about, and what really made that design come to life?
Yeah. It was a a fun time going through it. It was actually like my aha moment in the shower, to be honest. I mean,
We all have them.
I'm like, in the morning, noon, and night, like my mind is turning. And I think that day I was so focused on what could be different with the glove. I knew I wanted to do the glove. I wanted to be different, but how? And I see like all these people having like, and I work with a lot of companies, and it's like one of my passions is working with brands, collaborating, bridging the gaps, and kind of trying to just work hand in hand with brands to help each other out. And I wanted to do something along those lines. And I've seen, companies do, gloves for, golf tournaments and charity events and, all these things, but the logo was always stitched on, and the MOQs and everything were so high because, you have to make these patches and sew them on and this and that. So, that was kind of where it came from, was like, okay, how can I do this? And obviously I first started with like a magnet, but that's already been done. And the magnet is definitely it's costly, and you got to like, outsource and import those if you want the cost to be down. And just glove companies don't do that. So instead of going from 2 different companies, I wanted everything to be in-house with one. And so that was like, okay, well, what else? And as I'm like, thinking about, okay, the glove, like how, when you're you're strapping it, it's Velcro, this and that. And I'm all, why not do a, Velcro patch that's interchangeable so you can wear your favorite, brands or color or sports team. And that's kind of where it all evolved from, was and it's already in the works, but I've wanted to do partnerships with like, the big sports brands and stuff, with NBA, NFL, baseball, NHL, all those, and I was figuring this could be my way to do that. You know, you can wear, you know, a Lakers patch on a Friday and a Chargers patch or whatever on a Sunday, you know, so without changing a glove. And that was the biggest thing, was making sure that you don't make it gimmicky and too, like, you know, as seen on TV type of thing. And, you know, and without changing like the aesthetics of the glove. You know, I think the traditional glove doesn't need to be worked on or steered off on the beaten path or whatever. It works. There's maybe a couple of things that you can maybe change, but for the most part, a glove is a glove. And that was kind of the emphasis, was do everything with a patch and see where that goes. So that was how we can make things different and make things kind of like cost effective for the brands that want to bridge the gap. And then obviously have some fun with it. I mean, that's what we're all about. And I've had so much fun so far with just getting the word out there with like the brands, and they're like, what? Like, you have what? Like, we can do that? Like, it's cool to kind of see that. And the bigger brands too are now like catching on and kind of, you know, dabbling with some collaborations that aren't even golf related. So it's really cool.
That's pretty sweet. When you see yourself kind of outreaching beyond the game itself and like the brands that are intertwined already with the golf game, that's when you know you're kind of maybe onto something.
Yeah.
that's pretty fun and can take you, you know, on some pretty neat rides. But I think the one thing you hit right on the head is like you see so many companies trying to like reinvent the wheel out there a lot of times, and it's just, it ends up being
I'm enhancing the wheel.
Yeah, you are though. You are. Because I'm going to be honest with you, there's so many like classic glove brands that like I'm just going to go to because I know they work. The performance is amazing. And it's tough to enter that market at a first level. I can only imagine how tough it is to say, all right, well, we're the new glove in town, you know? But it's pretty neat to, you know, I have one sitting here, and just to put the different colors on and rip them on and rip them off. They're easy. They stay on. It's not like they're going to fall off. And the thing I love about it is once you put it on, you forget it's there. It's not like it's this super cumbersome kind of Velcro that once you put it on, it's like, wow, I can really feel that whipping around or, you know, turning in my hand. So it's a pretty neat idea. And I think, you know, as you look to build with other brands and to put other people's logos on is an awesome opportunity. And the one thing kind of how we cross paths, which I'd love to see how maybe you got intertwined with them as well, but the Below Average Golf Tour and those guys over there, you know, was that kind of very early on that you got, you know, hooked up with those guys on the bag tour, or how did you guys get in contact, and how many athletes do you guys have on the bag tour right now?
Yeah, it's funny. Right before I got on the podcast with you guys, I was talking to them on the phone, so about some of the athletes that that I'm going to be helping out. But anyways, that all came about with the amazing social media. You know, I mean, I think with everyone, you know, you cross paths at some point. You know, if you are, you know, intertwined with someone or liking something, or, you know, it just comes up in your search or whatever. And I feel that's kind of like where we cross paths. I don't know if it was you that started following me or me following you guys or something. I'm not too sure, or how, I'm not too sure, but it might have been me just trolling because I wanted podcasts. I wanted to get the word out. I'm just kidding.
Love it.
But you guys are awesome, though.
Well, hey, you've trolled yourself here, so kudos.
I made it. No, I'm just kidding. No, but you guys do produce great content, and they spoke very highly of you guys, and I see that you guys help them out too as well. And so with me and them, it is just pretty recent. Like I said, we crossed paths. I don't know. Again, I don't remember the whole detail with that, but I have been seeing some of their stuff, and I was a little like hesitant on how things worked and stuff like that. But they actually signed a guy up that lives in my area, so that kind of drew me with some interest, you know, because they wanted some stuff. They wanted me to kind of help out and send some stuff to some guys, and I just was like, I'm unsure still, you know. I don't really understand it, you know. I don't really get it. Is it something just for you guys, you know, for your area, or what? I just wasn't sure. So as I started doing a little bit more of my homework and stuff, it kind of made a little bit more sense and more clear. especially with that guy, is Ryan Andrews. He just signed up with them. Hasn't played an event yet, but he lives here. So I figured that could be something where we can cross paths to him and I, go to a course, get some content, him, this and that. Cause I'm very community driven. So, first and foremost, I want to concentrate on everything here with, almost 400 people, like men in my basketball league. It's like a lot of those guys play golf, and I want to hit those guys and then hit local courses and shops and stuff and get the word out there with like the community and stuff. So having him, I think, will bridge that gap a little bit and help out. So, but yeah, we're just starting out with them. Picked up another guy, Sean. And then we're actually working on another 2 guys. So I'm going to be helping out 4 guys right now and kind of just see how that goes. And try to pick a couple of guys from like different areas, not just the same one. But I do want one that plays with those guys, all the time. So I know that those guys will get, the content and stuff like that rather than relying on the guys who are actually golfing, so.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool thing to see, outside of, their home base, it's starting to grow. And we've kind of seen it, like you said, out on the West Coast, guys are starting to hop in. I've even seen some in kind of the Midwest regions that are starting to pick up on the bag tour. So it's something that's definitely, I think, with the proper social media awareness and the proper getting the word out there just to, like your local community and our local community and their local community to kind of build it in these nucleuses. It can become a fun kind of, different spin on, I think, what needs to be out there in a game of golf and what the, I hate to drop this term on it, but like the silent majority. It's the silent majority of golf, basically, that it's not getting covered. It's not getting the media time, but it's the 90%ers out there that are just having fun, drinking beers, playing golf.
That's it. And competitive, I mean,
getting a good match in.
And, you're getting products. You're feeling like you are kind of like a tour, player of some sort. You're playing for something. You're getting hooked up with some, products and stuff. So you feel special, and you're not just going out there, getting away from the family and breaking away for 5 hours and playing around a golf. Like you're actually kind of taking it serious. So it's cool.
Yeah. And I've said this before because I'm in that realm where, I'm a decent handicap. I can throw up some good scores, but not good enough to be playing in kind of your local amateur stuff to really kind of make a name for myself.
What's your handicap, dude?
Sitting at a 5 right now.
Dang, that's impressive. Good job, dude.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you.
He's good enough to play in those amateur events.
Listen. I don't like to. Yeah.
You're too humble.
Let me get to my point.
You're able to be a little conceited in golf, dude. Come on.
Jeez. But it allows those guys.
Sport. Talk about yourself. Come on now.
Anyway, that's the goal, is to get down there. But as of now,
come on, I average about 13 birdies a round. What can I say?
Yeah. Online.
Oh, did I say 5? I'm at +5. Whoa.
Yeah, but it allows for that weekend warrior to have more of a competition, because you can play in your muni games, you can play in your member weekend gambling games, but to me that's just like a gambling game. It's really there's still like not that full focus, but having the opportunity to possibly win something and put your name on a leaderboard,
right?
That gives it a lot of meaning.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that, definitely. And it is like it does go to say, like, if you were constantly playing like with your buddies and doing this, like I feel like that just you plateau, like you get stagnant with playing in tournaments and stuff. It makes you think a lot differently. I mean, I know, like if you're playing skins games and money games with your buddies and stuff, but I still feel like you are kind of like at your limit if you keep playing with the same people. You know what I mean? So if you play with like better people and in a tournament environment, that just makes you step your game up even more, and it kind of pushes you through different scenarios and stuff too, on kind of just how you're playing. And it's golf, man.
Especially playing with especially playing with people you don't know.
That's huge.
That's huge, because that's
and they're good, and you don't know them.
That's a big imitation factor right there.
That's like,
you get up there, you're like,
I'm gonna
it's not even
right now. Here we go.
It's like, what's this guy gonna think of me?
Do I get a breakfast ball? Come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tops one off the first tee.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Hooks one straight into the water.
What nightmares are made of, man.
Right?
Ooh.
Damn golf, man. Jeez.
Why do we play?
For that one shot. That one shot.
It just keeps
I was
you
actually
coming back.
I had
that one shot or that one putt. That's just that's
That
what
was-
keeps coming back.
that was me last Saturday. Basically, I had that one last round before they shut down New Jersey, and I was out there, and it was 50 degrees with maybe 20-mile-an-hour winds up to like
Perfect weather.
30-mile-an-hour gusts. It was rough, and I was playing right on the river, and I just couldn't get anything to the green. It was just a giant struggle until I just had this like one great bunker shot out of this bunker on a par 3 and almost hold it. And basically, well, I love golf again. The entire round, I was saying this game sucks.
You
I
go back to
can't.
that pond and grab your clubs back or what?
Yeah, exactly. They were about to be snapped in half. But yeah, golf's
love
just that one shot that just continues to bring you back.
Adam,
It's so crazy how that's so true.
yeah,
I mean, it's
out of what? Maybe if you're having a really, really bad day, like over 100, but it's
Yeah.
like you get home, sit on the couch, crack a beer. Man, you know that one drive I hit really well?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to go play tomorrow.
Right. Yeah. So we're getting our tea time tomorrow, right? I'm
Back.
never playing golf again. Hey,
That's
so we're
what-
cleaning up tomorrow?
Yeah, that's my cousin, man. He's a baseball player and plays maybe, I don't know, once or twice every couple years. He's, dude, when we golf, and I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. And, he just takes that baseball swing and slices it all over the place. Is just screaming, cursing all over the place, and then just hits that one. He's like, I hate golf, man. And then he peers. He goes, I love golf. When we
Yeah.
playing again?
Yeah. I have a buddy like that, man. Just throws temper tantrums all the time. You
Oh,
know?
that's me.
Just breaks clubs religiously,
At times.
bends shafts, throws them and everything. I'm just all, well, I guess you got a lot of money.
Those
I
are the
guess.
first guys to ask you to go play, though. Absolute nutcases. They're the first guys to ask you to go play.
They are. I'm like, dude, you just wasted 3 of your clubs yesterday. Why are you wanting to play today? Like what in the? I thought you were done. But I got new clubs today. It's like, oh, okay, great.
I got new clubs and a Take Pride golf glove. I'm ready to
Yeah,
roll.
I gotta put it to use. Yep.
So you guys, obviously, you said you're looking into that tour style glove coming out in the future.
Yep.
But what else is next for Take Pride? What is the big kind of next steps that you have envisioned for 2020 and maybe 2021 with all the craziness going on in the world right now?
Yeah. I think just continue on with the brand awareness is like the super huge thing. I think first and foremost is obviously, like I said earlier, the community. If I can, reach out and get it on, as many people as I can in the community that I already know and that, I've already built from my basketball side of things, then that's huge for me. And I think just like having like these other like communities here, like San Diego, like, like other golf communities and stuff, Palm Springs, San Diego, Orange County and stuff, like just literally at like the palm of my hands, like with people that I know and stuff, there's no reason why, this shouldn't work or get with, as many people as possible. So that's like my main focus for sure for the whole time, from here on out. And then just, try to promote and support as many events as possible. If I can, when all this kind of, settles, all the dust settles and stuff. And, obviously 2021 PGA show, definitely. I mean, that's all, every January that's going to be on the calendar. So, maybe we can meet up this time.
For sure. Yeah, I know.
I know we didn't cross paths this past year, but we
got in over our heads quick on that one.
And like I said, like I told you, man, it's overwhelming for sure, but it's so fun and it's so beneficial that, especially for new brands, whether you've been in it for 3 months or 5 years, I feel, it's very beneficial for everyone,
It's basically golf's alumni reunion. Yes,
It is.
It's that one weekend
And
where
there's
everybody
so many
just
opportunities. Yeah, there's so many opportunities that happen there. I mean, you can meet, you guys or whatever that I've never seen a face with or whatever, putting a name with a face, and then people that you like last year, like I stayed in a house with the Birdie Bundle guys, and I came to like just really, really get to know and become really good friends with some of the people that stayed in there. And it's like now that's like kind of like our meeting ground. It's like, okay, if we're not going to see each other at any events the rest of the year, at least we can make sure that we talk on the phone or through Instagram, and then see each other at the PGA show. So that was kind of a cool experience was last year, and then bringing it to this year was even better. This year I stayed just by myself, like in a hotel, and I was just on my own program, kind of just making sure that I reached as many people that I needed to, that, that's what we were there to do. And then I had a couple of obligations to fulfill with like KBS and UST and stuff, like with some, golf outings and stuff. So that was kind of cool to kind of meet some of those people that are affiliated with those brands, that are, athletes and social media guys and stuff like that, influencers. So it was kind of cool to be involved in that kind of stuff and seen as, kind of like of an importance as well, which I feel that was pretty huge for myself and for the brand. So that was cool.
Yeah, it was funny to see, like, we stepped in the door maybe 5 seconds, and I'm like, oh my God, there's Bradley from Bradley Putters. And then I'm like, oh my God, you turned a corner.
Bradley's always walking around. He's got the heaviest bag.
Yeah.
Backpack full of putters. He's holding one so he can show how freaking dope they are.
He's such a gem. He's such a gem.
He is a gem. So hard and never has a plan.
Ever.
Never has a plan. Like,
Nope.
I'm just like, you don't have a hotel tonight? Like, what? But yeah,
Hey,
so that was
I have to.
thing, though. I met him last year, and we hung out a lot. And then this year, we saw each other and we hung out a lot again. So it's kind of just that meeting factor of some really cool people.
I have to completely credit his lack of planning for our free parking. Shout out to him. His lack of planning led us to park wherever we needed to all weekend long for free.
Wow.
So, I mean,
he always he knows those little like like hookups. Like he just makes stuff happen. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. And you got to do it. You gotta run it like it's your own. Like if you just are like kind of skeptical and like I don't know where to go, you're never gonna get anywhere.
That's it. You gotta act like you own the place. Yeah,
you gotta own it.
Yep. It's funny. One of my
uncles, you make it, bro.
One of my uncles says that all the time, and I won't rat him out, but he goes to a certain university for all their basketball games and makes it into their suite level barbecue every year. So I don't know how he does it, but he acts like he owns the place, gets in, and there's something to be said about it.
That's the way you got to do it, man.
For
That's the
sure.
way you got to do it, for sure.
Yeah, man. Just touching back. I mean, we just saw like so many influencers, and like you said, just like people that like represent like big brands, just walking around willing to talk with you at the PGA show, and it was so cool. And I think what's so awesome about it is like just the willingness to have that conversation, because I feel like a lot of other, whether it's networks or just other businesses or levels of business, they just don't do that. But for some reason, the golf industry is so open to that. I don't know the mentality we have around the sport that, oh, hey, you're playing golf, I'm playing golf, let's talk. And maybe that's it. I don't know what it is, like pinpoint it, but it just seems like golf, the industry itself is so open to just having those conversations and willing to meet new people with new brands, new products, whatever it is.
I agree. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's easy to talk to, and there's so much to learn about the sport, I mean, just the history behind it and stuff. I mean, it's just, and so much like, science and, so we can go off on so many different directions on the game of golf and clubs and courses and, equipment and stuff, I mean, it's just, it's endless, and you can talk to each of these guys about one different thing, and it can be like an hour and a half, 2 hour conversation, so it's really cool. And they're like willing to do that, which is really cool.
I think it's funny you just touched on that. I think what it boils down to is just like everyone who's in the game of golf at the business level is a golf nerd. They love it so much that they just can never get enough of it. Yeah. And it just boils under your point of like, there's so much history in the game, and in today's day and age, so much tech.
Yeah.
Never endless conversation.
It is, for sure. I totally agree with that. So you guys think it was pretty beneficial for you guys?
Oh, for sure. I would say,
oh, hell yeah.
Now, we barely touched the tip of the iceberg. We went in with a slight plan, had a couple interviews, lined up.
Did all three of you guys go?
No, just Dante and I. Isaiah
Okay.
couldn't make the trip down, unfortunately, but we tried to keep him in with pictures and stuff. But we'll have him down
Yeah,
there.
you got Zay. Make sure you go this year, all right, or this next year.
I'm going to try to if I'm not
Yeah,
working, of course.
I know, man. I know, and it's during the week, so it's like it's hard. I get it.
Well, that's the thing. We were there Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
We missed Tuesday's demo day. We missed Wednesday.
You didn't miss anything.
I was gonna say I heard it was
heard.
ballsy cold and just not fun.
Yeah,
but I've been following.
We definitely, me and Colin. You guys know Colin McCarthy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So me and him, we both had our kites flying that day. We were walking around with our kites and stuff.
Nice. Yeah. Well,
I've pretty windy for sure.
Yeah. I saw the videos because my course that I belong to, they were down there and all like the GM and the whole crew was down there.
Nice.
And they were like just looking at it, and I like messaged them. I was like, I thought this is Florida. He goes, dude, so did I. This sucks.
Yeah. It did. I missed demo day last year because I came in that night, and then so this year I came in on Sunday actually, and I had to golf Monday, and then demo day Tuesday, obviously. Darn it.
Yeah.
And then,
rough life.
And then golf Tuesday also. So we went to demo day for like a little bit. Thankfully, it was windy and cold because then I was like, well, the quicker we get out of here, the quicker we can go play. So, but yeah, it was a cool experience seeing all that and seeing how things go. And I don't really feel it's a necessity, but it's cool to experience it once or twice. And then the big thing is the show. So make sure you save up your energy for that for sure because you're going to be walking a lot.
Oh yeah,
we hit the floor running around like 10 o'clock and didn't about 6:30.
Yeah, we were what?
Day one?
It was day one was basically a 24-hour day, which
that's the biggest day. I mean,
we had a plan because we were up super early Thursday morning anyway to get on a flight and then fly down there. So we had this plan because we were playing Janella's skins game at Winter Park that Friday.
Cool. Nice.
So we're like, all right, dude, we're gonna go to the show. We're going to do what we need to do. We're going to go find a range, swing our sticks, get loosened up, get ready for tomorrow, grab a bite to eat, maybe at some just like pub real quick and crash at like 8-9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Yeah. That didn't happen.
Nope. There's too much going on, man. You don't want to miss out. You got like serious FOMO.
We were out till 3 in the morning.
Says,
texting, you're like, I got to be there.
One person says, oh, hey, if you want to come out later, me, and me are coming. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Like you like you said, it's total FOMO. You're down there with the entire industry for 3 days. Well, for us, it was 2. We were there Thursday and Friday. So
it almost, to me, 15. We were 15 hours of sleep, if I guess that right. It almost
the whole week
felt like 3 days.
Oh yeah,
3 days felt like 7.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, the best 3 days of that entire year, hands down. I mean, just it's a golf nerd's paradise, and it was just it was something to be seen for anyone who has an opportunity to get down. However you can get in, go, just freaking go, plain and simple.
Yeah, it's a great experience for sure. Definitely recommend it.
No doubt. Now, from what you saw down there and kind of what you're trying to do with the game of golf, and I think what we're trying to do as well, just from like a approach standpoint of just kind of the more laid back mentality, what do you say the game of golf is going to be in like another decade or two? Where do you see that kind of transitioning? Do you see it making like a monumental jump in the next decade, or is it kind of just going to be still on the outskirts of just the everyday golfer adopting that mentality?
I think it's going to be a little bit more acceptable for both sides, to be honest. I feel like your everyday is going to be accepting and understanding that there are those kind of higher, profile hoity-toity guys, like we spoke on earlier. And I think it's just more, more understanding that they're out there and say, hey, this is golf, and going the other way, I feel like they're going to be a little bit more, accepting of kind of how they are, where it's like, okay, well, let's still wear a polo and some, nice shorts or pants, but maybe we don't have to tuck in our shirt, or, who knows, or maybe I don't feel like wearing a hat today, I just, my hair's cut, looking good. I just want to rock my haircut. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't feel like it's going to jump any direction, really. I think it's just going to stay the way that it is right now, with a little bit more accepting of your everyday golfers, I feel, like courses and stuff. But I don't feel like it's going to be – it's just what the sport is, and I think you have to respect it, and I don't feel like it's going any direction for the worse at all.
For sure.
And it's definitely more it's becoming more popular, obviously. It's the way that you get out and meet and hang out with the boys and hack at the ball, or have little skins games, or whatever kind of games you want to play, and then you get to go on and go with your day-to-day life, but it's just becoming something more for people to do, to get out in the sun and kind of enjoy, whether you do 9 or 18, or you walk, or you ride, get a cart, or whatever it may be, So all in all, I mean, if you do that, I mean, it is great to be out and experience that stuff, and get some sun, and whether you walk or not, get some, burn some calories and stuff. But it is a workout, so it is an excuse to get out there and.
Yeah, I tell you, like you said, if you're even if you're riding and you haven't swung the club in a week or 2 or 3, and then you go out and swing club for 4 hours, your bones hurt at the end of the day. They just hurt.
You're sore. You're definitely sore.
Or maybe that's just because I turned 25 and I'm starting to feel it like the rest of us. I don't know.
Oh, that's it, 25. Oh, man. Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
We'll get there one day, boys. We'll get there.
Yeah. One day you'll get there, how it really feels to get out of bed.
Hey, let's ease off on that. I'll gladly enjoy the youthful enthusiasm that I got.
I enjoy it, for sure.
As long as I can.
It's going to come and go real quick.
Oh, man. But no, I totally agree with what you said, because like we talked about it last podcast, I think, where the room for the like kind of like, not I would say like the prim and polished side of golf is always going to be there with the Masters, with the players. We talked about it with just the way the players presents itself. Just, with the high end golf tournaments like that. I always want that to be a part of golf. There's so much class in that. There's so much, that goes into a tournament like that. I always want that to be there.
I think you need that too. You need
Yes.
that because golf's expensive and there's a lot of money in golf, and you need that actually to support the game at the end of the day. But I also think like what you're saying, John, is you're going to see probably more relaxed and more acceptance on both sides. I think that's what we need.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see more stuff for that weekend wear, more than just the weekend games.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I would be a lookout on that for sure.
Are we headed towards Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville style golf? Is that what you're saying?
Hey.
no
okay,
shoes
okay.
and socks?
No shoes, no shirt, no problem.
Playing barefoot's fun.
Oh,
Playing barefoot, it feels great on a nice summer day.
I feel like you got to do that in Hawaii or something for sure, but I'll be afraid to like step on something.
Logan and I have done that in Fairfield, Pennsylvania.
Really?
Yeah, done it a couple times.
Wow.
Feels good. It's
middle of the summer.
really different feeling.
It's
Yeah.
about it.
I mean,
So
you
yeah,
definitely
East
get that
East
feel
Coast,
of
you better be
that.
doing it in the middle of the summer, because if you're doing it anywhere where it's cooling down, not
No.
fun.
No, I think Ricky has like a big play in like this whole thing, that like the transition from your traditional professionalism golfer versus like your everyday golfer. I think he's kind of bridging that gap with Cobra Puma, and they're kind of making like those. Like what he wore like a button up. Like where were they? Were they in Hawaii or something? I think like
Yeah.
A
he
romper.
wore-
It looked like a onesie.
Yeah,
like-
and it was like a button down, and it wasn't even like tucked in.
No.
And
Yep.
and it was still accepted. It was talked about like crazy, but
Sure.
it was accepted.
Puma's good at that. Puma's good at getting their stuff talked about.
They are, for sure. They do definitely a really good job on
But
that.
for the good reasons too.
But you have him though. Like I think like he's the only one that can really pull that off. Like that look or that style, or something with pink or like whatever it may be. I just don't feel like anybody else would really
No, there's a lot of guys out there that, you
like
know,
JT, they tried to do like that lefty thing, like him and JT, and I still don't feel like that wasn't his style. Like he's such a Titleist guy, you know, white with
RLX,
white pants, you
Polo
know,
Ralph
all,
Lauren. Yeah.
yeah, like yeah, exactly, yeah, polo and stuff. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
he is that, you know, he's that golfer, and then Ricky is just, and Ricky, you know, grew up in my hometown where I'm at, so. But yeah, every Porsche you go to has like his photo around here. You know, it's cool.
100%. As he's deservedly so.
Absolutely, 100%, definitely. But you know, that's been like his lifestyle, you know, through and through. You know, he hasn't changed or anything. It's not like Cobra Puma like said, "Hey, you're gonna wear this." Like that's probably like him and his, you know, party and stuff. Like saying, "Hey, like why don't we try to like bend the rules or, you know, kind of go the distance a little bit and do this. You know, kind of think outside the box." And they do it really well.
Sure.
They do
Oh
a really
yeah,
good job.
they definitely cater to that player's personality. Same with Bryson
Yeah.
DeChambeau. Immediately they made once they picked him up, they gave him the Jeff cap for him
Yep.
right away and just threw a P on there.
There's no
Well,
doubt,
and
you
then
know, Bryson with his
the
style.
1 lane clubs, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yep.
like with him, and that's another, you know, Cobra, you know, so they're definitely ones that are thinking outside the box rather than being like the traditional, you know, golf brand for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like they're just waiting for some other guy to kind of be like out of the norm, you know, just kind of quirky enough to make them, you know, push the boundaries some more because, you know, they're not going to do it unless someone I feel like comes to them and says, "Hey, let's really push it," because I wouldn't see another company other than Puma Cobra doing that with Ricky. You know, I don't think,
Well,
you know, no other company would kind of push the boundaries that much.
and I think that's why they kind of went and got like a few of like the trick shot guys, you know, because that's their style too, you know, not your, even
Yep.
they're really good golfers like Coach Rusty and stuff, like super good golfer, but you know, like he's more of a laid back, you know, he likes that vibe, like that, you know, that button down the Hawaii, like looking, you know, Florida beach vibe and palm trees and all that stuff. And I feel like that's his style. Like that works really well for him. I would never see like him with like another brand. I just don't feel like it fits, you know? So they've done a good job of utilizing like him and a few of the other people that really cater to their style, you know, which is great. So.
Now, speaking of Hawaii prints and some Shaka hands, you've got the nice Shaka as your, is that like a secondary logo? What came first, the TP on your hat or the Shaka hand?
Yeah, TP for sure, because I wanted something a little bit more corporate, more, you know, iconic. I wanted something that was, it's noticeable, you know, and that's kind of goes back to like my Nike, you know, my passion for Nike and stuff is kind of like you don't have to have any words. You see that, you know, that swoosh, whether it's orange or whatever color, and you already know kind of, you know, what the brand is. And that was my mentality, you know, make sure you come up with a logo that's identifiable, you know, and memorable. And, you know, whether it has Take Pride Golf Supply on there or not, you know, you'll always see like the, you know, the icon and stuff. So, the whole like Shaka thing, because I got a thumbs up and I got a Shaka thing. So that's all just basically like what we normally do. And then it was like, well, we might as well just throw a glove on it and make it seem like, you know, a glove, because that's obviously what we are. So
Yeah.
if we're always doing thumbs up, Shaka, like whatever, peace sign, like, you know, those are always going to have the glove on there. So the only thing I won't do is a middle finger. Not my style.
I like that. Good vibes only. Now, one of your stickers that we actually, you know, we received has that Hawaiian print with the blue thumb. Is there any chance, kind of we'll wrap it up here, is there any chance of getting some sweet custom prints on these gloves, or are you going more classic style?
I'm definitely keeping it more classy right now. It's not definitely out of the picture, but as of right now, the color options are going to be for collaborations or, you know, obviously the patches, the change patches. So those are your color pops. Everything is going to be black and white for right now. And I will dabble and release some limited edition color gloves. I actually have my Masters one that's coming this week, actually, which, you know, sucks because, you know, it's not going on, but hopefully, you know, I did a small run of those and, you know, limited, and hopefully those will, you know, still be, you know, of an importance of some sort, and we'll go from there. So, but definitely, you know, collaborations with some other brands and stuff. So I do have some with I'll just leak out one that I'm affiliated with right now with so my designer is Mitchell Bailey, who's actually an owner of the Trust Me Vodka brand that I'm affiliated with.
Uh-huh.
And I'm doing a collaboration glove with them, and with that one is a black glove with a cyan blue thumb, and
That'll pop.
It looks. I'll send it to you. But it looks really, really good, really, really clean, but definitely poppy. It's not so in your face, and that's kind of like the whole thing with like the glove and why we chose the patch to be identifiable for the color option was just the longevity of the glove. It breaks down, tears down a lot quicker with a color glove. And, sometimes like myself or whatever, like cool gloves look great, like outside, but when you have it on, it doesn't look the same. You're like, oh, I don't know if I'm good enough to wearing this damn glove, so I just need to go with like even a black one sometimes, but just white's so nice and so just, there's nothing better than a fresh white, just super soft glove.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of what I want to do is I don't want, because sometimes the way that some companies or they do like their coloring and they're treating their gloves, it kind of like takes away from like the feel of the leather, along with the way that it's treated and stuff. So you have like all these different things to like kind of think about with, and there's just no room for error, with those. So I wanted something that was just going to be a little bit more, longevity wise for people, fit good, feel good. And then ultimately at the end of the day, play good. So
Yeah, no, I feel like when you're making a performance piece like that, like, yeah, it has to look good, obviously. And there's some room for customization, like you said, but at the end of the day, you're making a performance piece. It's got to fit on people's hands well. It's got to perform through multiple rounds of golf, range sessions. You have it. So that's the number one focus. And I think, I've put it through the ringer of, a good round of golf and a long range session of a couple buckets. And it almost still feels as good as new. So I think, whatever combination of Cabretta leather you got going, it's working. And I'm excited to see the next generation of Tour Glove. That's going to be one to keep an eye out for sure.
Now I got to get it to these two guys, and they got to get it in their hands, right?
Yeah, man, you're gonna have to give Big Lefty, I think, an XL maybe.
Hey, you just messing me your sizes.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know how I can get some hats from you too.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. I'll send you guys
those hats are fresh
for sure.
So speaking of all the goods, where can people find you? Where can they go to order some Take Pride gear, man?
TakePrideGolfSupply.com, and then obviously Instagram, Take Pride Golf. I'm always on there and answering and responding back to everyone's DMs and stuff. So keep it coming, guys. I love it.
Sweet, man. Well, appreciate your time. Don't go too crazy on your lock in, lock out, whatever they got you going out there in California. And
just everyone drinking their quarantinis.
There you go.
Gosh, Godspeed, and let's get back on the golf course.
Real quick before we go, I think the people want to hear, is there going to be a collaboration club between us and the pod?
I think there's got to be.
I think there has to be.
Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
I cannot go anywhere without asking that question. So
hey, I gotta love it. We love collaborating. We've started to do it, and we've kind of dipped our fingers in and are starting to go.
I know. I saw that. Saw that.
We're getting there. We're having fun with it. We're
don't leave me out of the picture. All right.
Seeing what the market looks like, and once we get over these.
I'm your glove guy. The other company can be your. What's the other one with the walking? Didn't you guys just do something with who did you guys just do something with? A collaboration.
We collabed up with Pat Webster, the bagger, caddy down in Pinehurst.
Yeah, that stuff looks so cool.
Appreciate that, man. Yeah, we had fun with that and kind of sat on that for a little bit and made sure we got it right and got it on the right stuff too. Just some really simple stuff and hopefully.
We need to have Bagger give me a drop me a line and I want to do something with him too. So that'd be cool.
For sure. We'll get her going, man. We'll get the fans going on some Take Pride and Enjoy the Walk collab here.
Give them what they need. Give them what they want.
The people what they want.
Give the people what they want.
It gets the people going.
Going.
Awesome, guys. Well, hey, that is Jon Cantrell from Take Pride Golf. Jon, seriously appreciate the time today, man. And as
Thank
always,
you guys, I appreciate you guys. Enjoy the rest of your quarantining.
Enjoy the quarantine and enjoy the walk around your apartments, houses, wherever you're stuck at.
Neighborhood.
Wherever you're stuck.
Yeah.
Just front porch.
Yep.
All right, guys, that's it from us this week. But take pride, take care, and enjoy the walk.
Enjoy the walk.
That's the stuff, one shot at a time.